Niamh was gone. It was shaping up to be another boring Friday night in the sleepy town of Brookwood. Let's go to the abandoned Rell house, Stacy suggested to her friends Amy and Becca. We can tell scary stories and freak ourselves out. The three of them were always looking for a thrill, to escape the monotony of small town life. Amy and Becca agreed enthusiastically, their eyes lighting up at the idea. The Rell house was rumored to be haunted, ever since the horrible murders that had taken place there years ago. The townspeople claimed they could hear screams coming from the dilapidated old mansion at night. The girls rode their bikes out to the edge of town as dusk fell and a chill crept into the air. They walked their bikes up the overgrown dirt road that led to the isolated house, nestled between looming trees dripping with Spanish moss. "This place gives me the creeps," Amy whispered as they got their first glimpse of the decrepit three-story Victorian mansion. All the windows were boarded up and the white paint was dingy and peeling. The perfect haunted house. They leaned their bikes against a tree and approached the front porch. Stacy turned the rusted knob and the door swung open with an ominous creak. The girls huddled together as they entered the dark, musty foyer. Cobwebs draped across the chandelier like wispy specters. "Let's set up in the living room," Stacy said, switching on her flashlight to cut through the inky blackness. They picked their way through the debris-strewn hall and into the front room. Amy and Becca shuddered as their flashlights illuminated disturbing dark stains on the rotting floorboards. They settled onto the moth-eaten couch, illuminated only by their trembling flashlight beams. "So who wants to go first?" Stacy prodded with a mischievous smile. The girls launched into their favorite ghost stories, trying to one-up each other with gruesome details and dramatic flourishes. Just as Amy was reaching the climax of her story, a loud crash echoed from upstairs, making them jump. "What was that?" Becca gasped. The girls froze, listening intently. "Probably just some broken shutters banging in the wind," Stacy offered. But then they heard the distinct sound of footsteps overhead. Heavy, pacing footsteps across the creaking floorboards. "Someone's up there," Amy whispered harshly. The girls huddled closer together, eyes wide with fear. The footsteps continued, back and forth, whoever it was clearly not trying to be stealthy. "Maybe we should go," Becca uttered nervously. But just then a shrill, anguished scream rang out from directly above them. Amy stifled a shriek, her hand flying to her mouth. The screaming continued, echoing through the cavernous house. It sounded young, female, and utterly terrified. The girls jumped up from the couch, clutching each other in panic. "We have to help her," Stacy cried. Propelled into action by the blood-curdling screams, she ran for the stairs with Amy and Becca close behind. The screams grew louder and more frantic as they reached the second-floor landing. Cobwebs tore at their faces as they raced down the hall, following the cries. They traced the screams to a closed door at the end of the hall. Exchanging a look of dread, Stacy threw her shoulder against it. The rotted door splintered open. Inside, the flashlight beams illuminated a grisly sight. A girl was hanging from the ceiling by her wrists, bound in rope. Fresh blood dripped from vicious cuts across her torso. Her face was bruised and swollen. She wailed when she saw them, her cries stifled by a gag. Stacy rushed forward and grabbed a chair, climbing up to cut the girl loose with her pocket knife while Amy caught her. Becca helped lower the sobbing girl to the floor. "What happened to you?" Stacy cried, tearing the girl's gag off. "We have to get out of here," she screamed hysterically. "He's going to kill me." She was wild-eyed with pain and terror. The girls didn't hesitate. They pulled the battered girl to her feet and hurried toward the stairs. But before they could make it down the first step, a menacing figure emerged from the shadows. A man stood blocking their path, his face hidden by a grotesque mask. Leaving so soon? His voice was low and raspy. He dragged a blood-stained machete along the floorboards as he approached. "Run!" Amy shrieked. They stumbled back, searching desperately for an escape route. But the man lunged forward with surprising speed and grabbed Stacy by the throat. "Let me go." She clawed at his arm, but his grip was iron tight. Amy and Becca pounded their fists against the man's back, but he swatted them away like insects. Dragging Stacy along, he moved toward the open door at the end of the hall. The masked man was going to torture them to death, just like the girl. They were trapped. Suddenly, the battered girl grabbed a loose floorboard and swung it with all her might. It splintered against the man's skull and he crashed to the floor, stunned. "Let's move," the girl yelled. Wasting no time, she hurtled down the stairs, the others close behind. Stacy gasped for breath, massaging her bruised neck. She could hear the man roaring in fury back up in the bedroom. They made it outside and sprinted for the cover of the woods. Behind them, the man's enraged shouts grew fainter. Finally, in the thick forest, they collapsed in a small clearing, sobbing with relief. "It's going to be okay. We're safe now," the girl reassured them gently. Stacy studied her face more closely in the moonlight. There was something chillingly familiar about her. "Aren't you Maggie Rell?" she asked hesitantly. "The daughter who went missing years ago after the killings." The girl's eyes glinted. "Yes. I've been trapped here ever since, but not anymore thanks to you." Her voice warped from soft to guttural and back again. Too late, the girls sensed the evil presence surrounding them. The forest came alive, shadows detaching themselves from trees, circling hungrily. "You freed us. Now you'll take our place," Maggie rasped with a bone-chilling grin. The girls huddled together helplessly as the shadows closed in. Their horrified screams echoed through the woods long into the night. But by morning, no trace of them remained except 3 abandoned bikes leaning against a tree.